Hello and welcome to the show. On the program tonight, a Scarecrow Festival. Wainwright celebrates fall in style. And also coming to us from Wainwright, the Youth Connection Center drops by to talk about an upcoming event. But first, he's outspoken and in charge. Mayor of Bonnyville, Ernie Isley's in the chair. All that tonight on Around the Region. It's not even Halloween, but some people take their costumes very seriously.
She decided that she wanted to do it too, and so we thought we'd put them together and go as a team, her and her Grammy.
How far do Wainwright residents go for fall festivals? But first, let's talk about Bonnyville. It's municipal election season in Alberta, but one local politician, Ernie Isley, is not going to have to work too hard. He's already been acclaimed to mayor of Bonnyville for the third time, and he joins me in studio here now. Thanks so much for coming.
You're quite welcome.
So, third time acclaimed. I mean, you probably don't want to blow your own horn, but that's quite a feat.
Yeah, does that mean I have the most undesirable job in town?
I don't think so. I think maybe that says that you're really good at your job.
Well, that would be a nice thing to think, but I do think there's probably a general level of satisfaction.
Do you think maybe your previous experience in Alberta politics just sort of puts you as front runner, like no one wants to come up against you?
At one time, I think that was to my advantage. I'm not so sure it is anymore.
Well, at least you sound very humbled by the fact that that they've elected you 3 times in a row without any running. Would that be a fair statement?
That would be a fair statement.
Let's talk about the rest of your councillors as well. I mean, all of the councillors in your council here have been acclaimed. What does that say about the work you're doing?
Well, again, I would say it says that there's a general level of satisfaction in the direction that the council has been going. Mm-hmm. Or there's a lot of apathy in the town of Bonnyville. Or maybe it's a little of both. Now, we are getting one new councillor because we were short one when the election was called. Mm-hmm. All 5 that were there, and they're all 5 solid councillors that work quite well together. Put in their papers for another term, and one new gentleman came forward, good individual, probably a 30-year resident of the community with the Alberta government. And no one else did, so everybody's in by acclamation.
So what are some of the advantages then to having the same council represent Bonnyville?
Well, I think there's a lot of continuity on issues, and there's a unity in council that I'm sure Mr. Erine, the newcomer, will fit right into. Mm-hmm. And as I say, if people like the direction things were going, they can rest pretty well assured that there's going to be very little changes.
What direction is Bonnyville going in?
I would say, number one, we're business friendly. We're open for business. We've had steady, solid growth that appears to be continuing. We currently have an industrial subdivision underway on the west side of town, a new half-mile of highway and industrial. We've got 2 residential subdivisions under construction, and it's a low level, but a steady stream of houses. I think there's probably a dozen under construction as we speak. We've got another area of highway commercial on the east side of town that the area structure plan is being worked on. I would see dirt starting to move out there in the next 2 years if the economy keeps moving the way it is. Heavy oil in that corner of the world seems to be more and more coming in onto its own. Bonnyville is pretty well the oil field service center north of the river. It's, I would say, in many ways, a mini Lloydminster.
What are some of the issues facing Bonnyville in this upcoming term?
I would say the most significant issue right now is water quality and supply. Mm-hmm. Currently, we take water out of Moose Lake,
okay,
which isn't the best quality of water. Mind you, I drink it all the time. Newcap. With the push that Alberta Environment has been doing to regional systems, discussion started probably 5 years ago with the Coal Lake Regional Water Commission.
Yep.
They at the time were very interested in expanding their system and becoming a truly regional system and delivering water to Bonnyville. They applied for and received a $200,000 grant from Alberta Environment to do additional studies and preliminary engineering. But suddenly last summer, the current members decided they didn't want to keep going in that direction, and they withdrew the application.
Now, there's been a little bit of friction here, and I want to talk about that. We just have to take a quick break. Ernie Isley, Mayor of Bonnyville, with me here in studio. Welcome back. With me here in studio now is Ernie Isley, Mayor of Bonnyville, freshly acclaimed for the third time in a row. We are just in the middle of a conversation about water in Bonnyville. Now, there's a lot of friction between Cold Lake and Bonnyville fighting for this water system. Do you think maybe new leadership and new councillors will help move this issue along?
That is possible. I don't think there's any serious friction built up yet between the councils. There's a difference of opinion on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have some difficulty understanding, their rationale for the change in position. I believe I know why, but they certainly would admit that's the reason. So we'll see what unfolds.
Let's talk about the MD of Bonnyville a little bit. Now, there's some interesting races there. With you being acclaimed, can you weigh in on that at all? Do you think you have a good, fair idea of what's going to happen?
Well, there are three being challenged. The Reeve went in by acclamation, and the three on the west side of the MD went in by acclamation. All good fellas.
Yep.
There's some interesting races going on, I would say, particularly in the far east, where there's, I think, a three-way, 4 people running for council.
Okay.
And there's 3 in the Ardmore Riverhurst region. So we had a good working relationship with the existing councillors,
Yep.
and I'm sure we'll develop a good working relationship with whoever replaces them, if any of them are replaced.
Let's talk about Wild Rose Alliance a little bit. I mean, you've been a very big pusher for the Wild Rose Alliance in Alberta, and you've said that it will be beneficial for Alberta to have them into power. What is it about Danielle Smith that really makes you tick?
Well, I think we've got a fresh new look at Alberta conservative politics.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a very articulate leader, very knowledgeable, can think and speak on her feet.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the old government that I was part of for many, many years, it's gotten old and tired and out of touch. I first got very concerned and had some good discussions with them over the direction they were going in healthcare. Then I got more concerned over the direction they were going in the way they were treating their seniors. And then I got concerned in the direction they were going with education. And the ultimate thing that I couldn't stand for was when they decided in these times to spend over $200 million to upgrade the federal building on their site just north of the Parliament building to house politicians and bureaucrats.
So
I mean, that building is sat there empty since I was Minister of Public Works back in the mid-'80s.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very expensive to renovate. Different ideas came up for it, but now it was not, maybe never was the time to spend $250 million there.
Do you think having Wild Rose Alliance in power, do you think that will help you push your municipal agendas in Bonnyville?
I can't say that we have suffered municipally because I switched horses. I think on 1 or 2 projects we may have gained, but I don't think that will continue, so I certainly wouldn't hurt our relationship if Wild Rose were to form a government or even a strong opposition.
Excellent. Well, we're running out of time here, but just last question, I guess. What are you most looking forward to this term as mayor?
Most looking forward to is keeping that industrial subdivision going on the west end of town, getting a discussion going on phase 2 of our Centennial Center,
Okay.
and getting some more accommodation for our senior citizens.
We're definitely looking forward to the changes you're going to be making. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Okay, thanks, Whitney.
Thank you so much for coming on. This has been our conversation with Ernie Isley, Mayor of Bonnyville. Your top news headlines are after the break.